My name is Pel Motlhabane. Now, one of the most important relationships that we'll ever wish we have with our personal finances. When it comes to money matters, a lot of us are very ignorant, despite having gone to, fancy schools, having multiple degrees, and whatnot. Don't get me wrong. It is not the relationship that we need to be concerning ourselves with when it comes to money. Is not the devil, guys. We need to appreciate that. I've wondered before if this relationship with our personal finances is something that we actually think of intentionally, or we're only reminded of that relationship when we're now sitting across some table with some sort of financial advisor trying to help us restructure our debts, or now when the debt collectors are calling and we're trying to duck and dive. That happens. Reminds me of a time when I was back at varsity a long time ago. I was young and reckless, especially with my money. So I received an allowance every month. Every month I will get the allowance. After I get that money, I'll just use it for all the wrong reasons. Buy myself some clothes, buy myself some new hair, everything. All the things that the money was obviously not meant for. So after all that, I would find myself with nothing for my upkeep. Nothing at all. So one day I found myself literally having to have my friends try to put together some coins to get me home. Oh my God. I never forgot that day because it was a turning point in my life. At the very least, after that, the one thing that I needed to have was some change to get myself home. I never wanted to find myself there again. Back to the point, I didn't know how to direct we need to know how to get our money to go where we want. The simplistic way in which we actually do this is through a budget. But most importantly, we need financial education. It needs to be a part of the school curriculum. It needs to be a part of our conversations at home. And those conversations now need to transcend beyond the piggy bank and saving. I think we have done a very good job with the piggy bank situation, but now we need to take it a step further. How do we now get to say, how do I get my money to do something for me? Or at the bare minimum, how do I live within my money limits? The aftermath of not having that education early on is manifesting later on in life as a young or a grown adult, having several degrees, good job, and still struggling to get their finances together. And the decisions that we actually take show whether or not we've had the basics of financial education when we were growing up. The buying of flashy cars, when we don't have a place to stay, immediately accumulating a lot of bad debt at the very onset of our careers, clothing accounts, credit card debts, buying everything on credit, household furniture, TVs, bedding, literally. I know you know what I'm talking about. Then come month end, you have only one stream of income trickling in, and then immediately you have 101 debits coming in to scramble for that money. Then as you grow up, you start to learn that your relationship with money is quite important. It becomes the difference between whether you are going to be able to build something for yourself in life, or you are going to become a slave to debt. Now you just work towards financing debts. How we've been raised definitely has some influence to a certain extent, but at some point we all need to take personal responsibility for the decisions that we take for our lives. It can no longer be grew up in the village. There was no internet during that time. There was very limited knowledge. My mother this, my mother that, my grandmother. I think our parents did a very good job on very limited formal education. In this day and age, we need to empower ourselves. Our own hands. Let's get ourselves some education. It's never too late to start again. We can change our money ways. But before we can start again, first we need to have a certain kind of radar in that direction. You definitely can't change something that you're not aware of. Be self-aware. Know where your money is coming from and where it's going. Know your money ways. Know where you're falling short, most importantly. Is it the education? Is it the discipline? Is it the peer pressure, lacking in maturity? What is it that you need to get you the help that you actually need? And like with everything else, intention is key. You need to be intentional. I think for us to be able to have any kind of financial freedom, we need to have that relationship put together first. We need to focus on it and build something for the next generation. Well, I really appreciate your time, guys. Remember to like and subscribe if you haven't done so already.